God damn it. Here we go. This is in your chapter 7 there, Bryan, and it's called The Big Ponzi, which I really enjoyed. And you say here, economic, and you actually talked about it briefly about population and stressing things. And to elaborate here in your book, it says economic expansion depends on population expansion, at least as it has for as long as we've been keeping track. So humanity faces a dilemma. On one hand, the habitat won't allow the human population to expand forever. That just won't work. But if the global population stabilizes, we face an unprecedented economic problem. Prosperity depends on an expanding human population to support our expanding global economy. And then you go on a little bit later in the chapter to say, population growth is a Ponzi scheme, and we're setting up future generations as its victims. We are paying into the base of the pyramid with our natural resources. Wow. So I think this really helped me when I got to this chapter, really helped me understand so much of like the queries that you talk about. Is it beautiful? Is it abundant? Is it contagious? And is it fair? And I was wondering if you can kind of break down this passage for us a little bit as a means to kind of open up more of your great book.
It's an interesting subject to me, obviously, but it's interesting to me how controversial it still is and how emotionally people react to the idea that we can't keep expanding our population forever. People are very emotional about it, and people from a lot of different backgrounds, I actually think that the skepticism about science and the skepticism around scientific evidence that keeps arising in our popular discourse is in part because everybody knows this is true. Most everybody knows our population is doubling every generation. Most everybody knows that can't keep happening. Most everybody knows as soon as the population stabilizes or declines, all of our houses will be worth less money. Not to mention our companies, not to mention, the whole machinery that forms a sort of bedrock for our reality in the industrial age is built on this expansion. And so I think everybody experiences a certain amount of baseline anxiety because I think most everybody realizes this really is not sustainable. But we don't have a vision for an alternative, really.